Yes, Thanksgiving's next. We gonna have greens, beans, potatoes, tomatoes. Oh, hey, so let's not pass Turkey Day up. Thanksgiving's one of the best holidays because we can eat and watch football. Save Christmas for like December 24th and a half. All right. So I had a few people ask me and ask me about my weight, the weight loss, how it affected my wrestling. We're gonna start it off right before COVID. I was kind of wrestling here and there, and started kind of picking up a little bit, and then COVID hit, and then wrestling shut down for a while, and it was like nothing. And then I lost my job of 28 years. They decided to close down the New Orleans branch and move to Houston. My mom had COVID. We almost lost her. She was in a hospital for almost 60 days. So I didn't have a job. Worried about my mom. Not wrestling. I kind of went into a little dark episode where, I was just waking up every morning, grabbing beer, going to sit outside, cooking, eating everything in sight. Those first few months of COVID, I'm gonna admit, it was pretty bad. I was pretty bad. I was sitting in my backyard just drinking all day, and so we go through the months. I did the first part of COVID. I remember nothing because like I said, I was just I was in a depressed stage. Anyway, fast forward to October, sitting in my backyard. My mom's out of the hospital. She's starting to do fine. We are preparing for my youngest daughter to get married and how we're going to do this during COVID. So we had a small wedding here in my backyard. My sister married, got ordained, married them. And, right before that, this was in November, but October came and I was like, you know what, I got to do something. The gyms started opening back up. And I was like, you know what? I need to start doing something. I ballooned back up to like 300 pounds. And when I first started wrestling, I was 350. And, but I ballooned back up to like 300 pounds and I decided to get back in the gym, start eating healthier and, dropping some of this weight. And then, we're going to fast forward to, right out of COVID. I started wrestling a little bit, started picking back up with 225 and, the promotion out of Mississippi started wanting to use me and I was dropping weight. I was like 260-ish and got down to like 240 and then won the Elevate Championship. And then it was a while before I wrestled again. And then come to the point where last week when I mentioned I was going to Taco Fest, at the Top Taco Fest, last year at Top Taco Fest, I was weighing, it was a while since I wrestled. So this was going to be my first wrestling match, weighing at about 215, 211 pounds. And thinking I could still go out there and be the monster that Minotaur was. And I wrestled Purple Haze, and I had one of the worst matches of my wrestling journey. And it had nothing to do with Perp. It was all on me. We talked over a match, and we worked each other so many times before, so we kind of knew each other very well. And Perp's one of my favorite guys in this business. And we get out there, he likes to lather up in baby oil. So as soon as we locked up, he was slippery, and I was going to toss him over the top rope onto the outside, and he slipped right off me. So I just grabbed him by the back of his head and threw him over the top rope. And as I was flying over the top rope, because I charged at him and he ducked down, pulled the rope down, I flipped over. I told him, I said, man, you were slippery. That's why you slipped off. Well, he kind of got upset with me thinking at first I was like, yeah, okay, it upset me because us as wrestlers, we beat ourselves up if something happens that doesn't go the way we want it to go. So we kind of beat ourselves up about it. And I started doing that. I went straight into, I messed up. I'm mad at myself now. And he came running off the apron and jumped on me. And I'm thinking I can catch him. And as soon as he hit me, I crumbled like a ton of bricks. Like I couldn't even, I just did. And I was like, man, and I got mad at myself. And I was so furious at myself. He was letting me know that I was messing up because he was laying in some shots pretty hard, and I didn't even feel it because I was just so mad at myself. And then there was another spot in the ring where, towards the finish, where he was going to jump off the top rope, and I was going to catch him, like on my shoulders, and I was going to catch him, and he was going to slide off my back, and we were going to go into the finish from there. Well, I went to go catch him, and I crumbled like a ton of bricks again. The match looked really, really shitty. It looked really horrible. I was so upset with myself, and he thought I was blaming it on him by saying that he had the baby all along, but that was just at the beginning of the match. Everything else, it was on me. And we got in the back afterwards, and he came back there screaming and hollering at me, and I was basically in tears because I knew I screwed it up. And I told him, I said, listen, don't scream at me. You can ask the guys back here. I said it was all on me. And, we kind of calmed down a little bit, but that night it was a long ride home. I only lived 15 minutes from Lafayette Park, but it was a long ride home. And so I thought to myself all night, I'm like, man, I lost all this weight. I'm still the same strength. I'm still pushing the same amount of weight in the gym. It's just I didn't have this massive 80 more pounds of wall of mass that I used to have, where I can catch a grown man coming off the top rope with no problems. I don't have that girth anymore, that weight behind me, that wall. So it took a lot of it took a lot out of me. I was depressed. I was so mad at myself. And I called 225, and I called Mikey at 225, and I told him, I said, listen, dude, I said, I know we got a show next week. I know the Halloween show is the biggest show. I said, but look, I'm done. I don't have it anymore. I'm done. He talked me into coming in, and I wrestled Vladimir Koloff that weekend, and I was kind of iffy about it. I was a nervous wreck. And that match from the week before was in my back of my mind. Well, me and Koloff wound up having a really good match because we kind of worked around some things, and where I knew what I was dealing with now. We kind of worked around some things. I actually did a tribute to Hacksaw Jim Duggan because he had cancer surgery that weekend, and I did a tribute to him, which my daughter was able to show Hacksaw that match, and he loved it. Anyway, we'll talk about that later. But we had me and Koloff had a pretty good match, and then a couple months later, I started wrestling for the GSW again, and I won the belt there. So now I have 2 belts, and I'm trying to ease my way out of the business because I knew I didn't have it anymore, and I'm not the type of guy to go out there and say, hey, let's just wing it and let's just take it easy. Y'all know me. I always win at 100%, and if I can't do 100%, I'm not happy. So here I am. I'm still kind of perplexed about that match that I had with Perp, and it was weighing on my mind. I was trying to do things that I did as Minotaur, and I just felt throughout the next few months, I just felt that every time I stepped into the ring, I had some type of anxiety where I wasn't myself. I couldn't do the things that the monster. I couldn't portray Minotaur as that big, huge monster anymore and do the same things I did, because now I'm finding myself the same size as everybody else, except for a little bit taller. So I went on to wrestle for there was a 8-man tournament in Mississippi I went to, and I wrestled a guy that I never wrestled before. So that made my anxiety levels even worse. And we talked over a match. We had mutual things that we were going to do, and he was I can't think, it was Golden Alexander Gold. He has his legs were massive. Well, we got in the ring, we started chain wrestling a little bit. He got behind me and he hooked me in a waist lock. He hooked me from behind in a waist lock. And usually Minotaur powers out of waist locks, or he elbows, or he does something to get out of a waist lock. Well, he snagged up on me and he lifted me up in the air. That has never been done to me before. I spread eagle. Hands went up in the air, my legs spread open, I started cracking up laughing because I have never been in this predicament before in my life. Nobody has ever picked me up in the ring like that before. And that kind of scared me, but it made me laugh at the same time. So when he picked me up, he came down with me. When he came down with me, I'm spread eagle. I came down wrong on my shoulder, and my shoulder's been bothering me ever since. And so that had a lot to do with it. Me just having, just thoughts. I'm 49 years old. I've done everything I wanted to do in this business. I've escalated what I thought I would do in this business over 23 years. Made it to WWE to have tryouts, work with ECW, work with all kinds of stars that's been in this business for years. And that kind of led me into saying, you know what, it's time for these younger guys to get in there and entertain my fans, the fans, all the fans. And Minotaur kind of faded his way out. But yeah, the weight loss had a lot to do with me retiring, well, ending my journey in the wrestling business, because it definitely made me have to change my style of wrestling. And after doing that for so long, it was a hard pill for me to swallow to try to change that up. And Minotaur can't be Minotaur at 210 pounds. And and that's just the way I felt. I'm hard against it. I'm hard to it. Everybody keeps telling me, hey, maybe you come back. I'm done wrestling. Like I said, I'm 49 years old. I lost my job at 28 years. I'm at a job now that I absolutely love, but it's a locally owned business, and I can't just, if I get hurt, I can't lay on a sofa for 6 weeks and get paid like I did with the job that I had for 28 years. I basically had to start. COVID made me start all over. So the weight loss came no matter which side, and I explained this in my promo when I left. Doesn't matter which side the fence you are on with COVID, there's one thing that we learned through the whole COVID mess is that, yes, you have your immediate family, but really, ultimately, in the long run, the only thing you have is your health. And I thought about that, and I made it my option. My health is my option, and that's what I'm doing. I'm still continuing. I'm still at 215, 210 pounds. I plan on staying here. I plan on coming to shows. I plan on showing up and seeing some of the guys, and that's why I went to Top Taco last week to hang out with some of the guys, and kind of like an ending thing for me, because that's where it started, where I started saying, hey, it's about time. So but yeah, that's my weight loss thing. Yes, the weight loss did affect my wrestling a lot, and affected me up here a lot too. So the reason it affected me up here, because I had this anxiety that I was going to hurt myself. Not only hurt myself, but when we step through those ropes, we trust each other's lives. We put our lives in each other's hands. And if I don't feel comfortable doing something, then I don't feel comfortable doing something to somebody else that can get them hurt and get them laid on a sofa for 6 to 8 weeks injured. That wouldn't weigh on my heart right. And everybody knows that Minotaur is a badass, but I also have a heart. So if I hurt somebody while I was out there, I wouldn't be able to live with it. So I decided, like I said, to end it. But yeah, it's kind of a somber story this week. But still, hope you enjoyed it. I'm at 13 minutes. Like I said, if you enjoy these, please subscribe. Please share. My daughters are on my case. I'm gonna give something away. I still have T-shirts left. If anybody wants a T-shirt, I think I got extra large and larges. I may give some away. Hit me up. Let me know. Suggestions. I've forgotten more than I remember in this business. So if you somebody watching that wrestled me a long time ago and have a story, hit me up with it. Let me know it. Remind me about it, because I definitely will tell it. But I got a lot on my mind about these stories, and I think this is going to be a big thing, and I'm hoping it blows up. Like I said, subscribe, share it. Best thing to do is share it and let people watch. To see a different side of Minotaur and see a different side of the business as far as story-wise. A lot of things that fans don't get to see, I'm going to tell without telling. So y'all have a good day. It's Friday, November 4th. It's about to storm outside. We got LSU, Alabama this weekend. Go Tigers. Let's go.